Hi there, everybody. I'm back with another vlog. I've been busy pretty much all week. I had to work all week. So I was off Friday and I'm also off today. So today was a pretty good day. I slept in a little bit. I got up like about a quarter after 8 this morning. So I did my morning routine, had breakfast, did my Lectio Divina, and I also went to Mass at 11 a.m. So I came home um at around 12 noon, and we had lunch, and my mother and I, we went out for the afternoon. We went to the local pharmacy to pick up meds for my grandmother. Then we went to Kohl's and we went to Burlington Coat Factory to look around. She got a couple things for herself. I didn't buy anything now. And our last stop was to Food Store to buy some stuff for supper. So the rest of the day was relatively quiet. I did work on my journal. I am almost done with this. I'll show you how far into it I am so far. I covered this much, and I have like 12 pages left to cover. So I'm probably not gonna get done with it until by the end of this week, I'm sure. So then I'm gonna be hopping on to do the next one that I have. I already showed you guys that one, the one with the peacock on it, the sequin one. I'm not even done with today's entry, so I don't know how far I'll get with that. I might even finish this thing before next Friday, the 18th, but we'll see. I've got plenty of writing to do in here still. So I started this one on June 22nd. And I thought I was going to be done with it a lot sooner than this, and I will be, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. So yeah, I have plenty of writing to do in here. The pages are like pretty big. The pages are like that size. This is an 8x11, I believe. And for those of you who don't know, I got this from Etsy years ago. I originally was going to do this for my morning pages years ago. Didn't get around to that because I use my other notebooks for my morning pages, but I quit doing them a long time ago because I fell out of love with them. I don't like doing them anymore, and they don't interest me. Other stuff that's been going on, we had some really wild weather yesterday. We had a lot of rain on and off, some thunderstorms, and when I was at work yesterday, it was like torrential rain on and off. And there was a period of time as to where it was really coming down. Or maybe that was Thursday, whenever that was. This week we had a lot of rain on and off, and finally the sun decided to come out, and I'm glad about that. So, I've been doing like a lot of like thinking about my channel and where I want to go with it. So I'm still gonna do like my regular vlogging. I'm still gonna do my vlogs about my walk with God. Some faith-based videos. I'm still gonna read some passages from the Bible to share with you. But I also want to work on doing story times. So like one story time that I want to do is like my experiences with living in Pennsylvania, because that's where I live. So I want to do that, and look how I came about to be here, why I'm here, things that I was what I want to do in the future, maybe. That brings me to my next point. You know how I just said that I went out with my mother this afternoon. She bought a couple things for herself. I didn't buy anything. I didn't need to. So she commented on that, and I basically told her that I don't feel the need to buy anything, and I have everything that I have at home. And I'm pretty well stocked with what I have. And I also told her that one of these days I'd like to move to Florida. So she asked me where in Florida that I want to move. I said, oh, I don't know, maybe Miami, maybe Orlando, maybe Tampa Bay, maybe Clearwater. I'm not sure, because Florida is pretty expensive, but I do want to save money to move there, and I'd like to move there in the near future, at least with the next, with at least with the next 3 years. So I'm really gonna majorly cut down on spending. This is one of the reasons why I'm frugal, because I want to like prepare to move to another state. I was like, from time to time I do go on homes.com, and I don't know if you've heard of the name of the town. It's called Lake Wales. Actually, true story. The name of this town was actually mentioned on Unsolved Mysteries. So if you're a fan of Unsolved Mysteries, give me a shout out. I'll give you a little bit of a background of what happened in Lake Wales on the Unsolved Mysteries segment. So it's a ghost story. So, like, who doesn't love a good ghost story, right? I know I do. But there was a family that lived in Lake Wales, and their house was haunted. And they conjured up the name of a spirit called Isabella Kramer. And weirdly enough, they did research. There was nobody by the name of Isabella Kramer. There was one part of the segment that the husband was venting out to his wife, and he said, "Oh, tell Isabella to leave me alone," or whatever it was. And his wife gaped at him like, "Well, how do you know what her name was? How do you know her name is Isabella?" And he was like, gee, how did I know that? You know, that type of thing. So I'm not going to tell you the whole story about this because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But whenever you're on Google or even on YouTube, they have that story on YouTube, actually. So feel free to watch the story on YouTube if you guys want. But anyway, I was on homes.com, and I looked up Lake Wales for homes. Some of them are pretty pricey. Some of them are really reasonably priced. So I could afford it to buy a home in Lake Wales straight cash. Of course, I'm not going to tell you guys how much money I have in the bank because that's irrelevant to you. That's private. But the long and short of it is that I could afford to buy a house in Lake Wales. I'm not saying that I will move there, but I want to move to a place that's affordable, where I could live and be able to work and have a living. So I'd like to move to somewhere in Florida at least with the next 3 or so years, and see how that goes, because that's one of the reasons why I'm really like scrimping down on like not buying what I don't really need. And plus I don't really feel the need to buy anything. Anyway, I don't buy stuff that I don't need as much as I used to. Once in a while I will get something. As a matter of fact, I did buy a couple things from Goodwill Friday. I bought a blouse and I bought two tops. Two of them are turtleneck tops for winter, and then I bought a short sleeve blouse. So I paid for all three of them. I paid less than $10, which isn't bad. And it's not that I don't have any clothes at home, but I want to change things up in my wardrobe a little bit. I did go to Kohl's today, and I saw a lot of nice things, even on the clearance racks, but they're kind of like, I always want to say they are pricey for clearance, but also not so much in a way. But pricey compared to if you were to buy these items at Goodwill or Salvation Army. I'm kind of glad I didn't buy anything because I really don't need to. I don't need to be spending money like crazy like I used to. And looking back, I kind of do regret doing that. Doing something I don't need to be doing. And I just don't want to splurge. Now, when it comes to my journaling stash, like I usually get some stuff. Usually journals, they come from places like Amazon, eBay. I'm really big on eBay from getting journals from there. I would say at least a majority of my journals come from eBay. If not roughly about half, but I think a majority of them came from eBay. I will buy them from Barnes & Nobles. I will buy them from Hobby Lobby, Michaels. I bought journals from Five Below. I did go to Burlington Coat Factory, and I saw a couple like spiral journals that are really super cute, but I didn't buy any of them because I have a lot of them at home. And I want to go through them first. And when it comes to at the end of the year or maybe earlier next year, what I want to do is buy a couple journals here and there, some journaling stash, and be like buying just one bulk of it, and maybe not a whole lot. I don't think I'm gonna get a whole lot, but I'm gonna replenish my pile of stickers, washi tape, like magazines and magazine cutouts. I'm gonna replenish that stuff. So, but that's not gonna be until like December at the earliest, maybe January, maybe even February of next year, because I still have a lot of stash to work through. I have a lot of washi tape. I have a lot of stickers. I have a lot of like journal, not journal cutouts, the magazine cutouts. I still have a lot of paper crafts that I still need to use out. So I don't really feel the need to buy anything new when it comes to that. And like for the rest of the time of this year, I'm really gonna be scrimping when it comes to money. Not that I necessarily need to, but if I'm gonna make this move that I like to do, the earlier I start, the better. I actually started to cut back last year, but come this year, I really cut back fair to like the spending and splurging. I just don't have the need for it. I don't feel the need to do that. I don't have that urge to do that, and I think that's a very good thing. That's a blessing, and I feel that this is what God wants me to do. And I feel like He's leading me in the right direction in life. Because lately I've been praying about my situation, my work situation, my home life situation, my personal situation, personal life, all of the above and more. And I've been wanting to move to Florida for a while. And one time when I was on vacation, when I was about 9 or 10, I think 9, I really like had that dream, not looking at a vision dream, but that dream to live in Florida on the beach. And after a while, I forgot about it. After so many years, and once in a while in recent years, I would revisit that memory from being in Florida, because what happened was that my mother, well, we all went to the food store to get some stuff, and back in the day, they used to have these little magazines. It's like an 8x5, right by 6 little home magazines. There were freebies, so you could take one home with you and look through. So, we ended up getting one from the food store, and I remember being at the hotel flipping through her pages, and I remember thinking to myself, and I believe I verbalized this too, that I'd like to move to Florida when I'm older, and live on the beach and possibly work in an office. Will that come true? That remains to be seen. I will let you know what goes on as time goes on. Meanwhile, I'm still living in Pennsylvania, and I'm gonna be talking about more of my experiences in Pennsylvania, like my backstory, what my school days were like, things like that. Visiting places like Lake Francis and Hickory Run State Park. So stay tuned. Bye, guys. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Bye.